I'm on a forestry road just south of the town of White River. Xander and I will be starting a big trip down the remote Pukaskwa River and coast in less than a week, and today I'm scouting the start of the route to get a taste of what we're in for. Should be an incredible trip. Just reached the Pukaskwa River, first time ever seeing it, and it really evokes that sense of wanderlust immediately. Can't wait to go paddling down this river with Xander. Before I get started, I need a little fuel here, so I'm going to cook up a quick lunch in this new twig stove. Lunch is simple today. I had some buttered chicken sauce left at home. Some garlic naan. Alright, Pukaskwa River. The adventure begins. Just minutes into paddling the Pukaskwa and already a fantastic wildlife sighting. Nice big moose. Got a pretty nasty headwind, but not too far to paddle into it. Approaching the first obstruction. It sounds kind of beefy actually, but we're in very high water. Ice just went out. For the full trip, I'll have two mapping resources. The Pukaskwa Coast, Lake Superior map here, and then this river guide by George Drought. I understand it's probably pretty outdated by now, but it'd be a lot better than nothing. And it runs downstream up, so I'm about there, and he's marked it Two Falls and then Broken Neck Rapids. So that's a pretty daunting start by name. I'm gonna get out and have a look at everything. Actually, no, I'll probably set up camp first and then start scouting today, tomorrow, and then we'll see how long it takes. This route isn't maintained as far as I know, and I'm not expecting a lot out of the portages, but this appears to be the takeout and the trail looks fine from here. So far it's about 1,000 times better than I expected. I expected virtually nothing actually. That's pretty exciting. I just tried to break off the end of this log, and as I hit it, it dislodged this beautiful caterpillar here. Just cut a branch off of this birch, and it is dripping sap like I've never seen a birch drip before. Gets a little less clear in parts, but honestly it's so much better than I imagined. I'm thrilled. I'm in between the two first portages. I'm trying to connect them. Otherwise you have to put in at a small pool and then take out like 10 meters later. It doesn't make sense. So just doing some maintenance on this trail is going to give us a really nice head start. So I've carved out a pretty good spot to camp here by the trail, and then I can just continue working here. Got a great view down the river. I'm content. Pierogies. Got some wine here, and I am very hungry. Clearing trail works up a good appetite. Looking at the trail here, and I'm really happy with where it started, where it is now, and tomorrow I'll get it into tip-top shape. So that'll be really nice for Xander and I to start out like that, and just makes me even more excited for that trip. I can't wait. It should be about a week away depending on water levels. We'll see what Mother Nature does, but another one. Unless it's the same moose and it worked its way well down the shoreline. Just about 100 meters away here, and watching him. I think he's aware of me, but enjoying that vegetation. He's eating too much to care. After a long winter, I'm sure it tastes just amazing. What a morning. The sun is just coming right down my lookout here. Beaver swimming right there, and it's all misty. It's heaven. So today I'll have the help of a battery-powered little chainsaw, electric, and this is very necessary with some of the big stuff. If I actually want to get them done, you know, you can find sneak routes around them, but the trail is so much better when there's a chainsaw that can come through. So with that, I'll start clearing the big stuff, finish up the small stuff, and then this trail is going to be in amazing shape. Looking good. This trail's good to go. Put in here after that second falls on the map, which is really just a 2-foot ledge. And now I'm going to bushwhack through, which is quite easy in these woods actually, and get to the next rapid and hopefully clear that today, and then I'll probably leave it at that. Otherwise I have to go quite a ways downstream, so that would be a great head start for us. This next rapid is called Broken Neck Rapids, and out here alone I always try to think about what would happen if I broke my leg or something, got pinned under a tree I was taking down, something like that. And so on my person I've always got my cell phone, which I don't have signal for out here, but I have my Zoleo, and then I can pair that with my phone and it gives me coverage anywhere, also weather. I've got a snack, just a Cliff Bar, and a lighter, and then I've got my bear spray on my hip, holstered, just in case. Never had an issue with bears, I've seen lots. Saw one yesterday on the drive in, but they around here they almost always run. They're not habituated, they're not used to getting food from humans. They're wild bears and they're good bears. On to the Broken Neck Rapids. This rapid starts off really easy and I wouldn't dream of clearing anything around this, but downstream George Trout's guide says that there are sweepers, trees hanging over the river, and in high water he said they can be quite dangerous. You got fast flowing water pushing you into trees. That's very dangerous if you get trapped against it. At the base of the rapid I didn't see too much in the way of sweepers, maybe a little, but it looks manageable. So I think we'll be able to run this one, which is good because I see no semblance of a trail. There's a nice pool at the bottom of this rapid, which I'm looking forward to fishing with Xander. Back to camp for some lunch and coffee. We'll be doing up some veggies. Still loving this little stove, but it will clog up with ash after a bit, like most do. The billy bellows that Aaron's dad Bill makes are terrific for clearing that out and just for getting it rip roaring. So I've got these bell peppers oiled up in the pan, and Joe gave me this grill, which is a couple years ago, which is actually perfect for this stove, and hopefully I can grill these. I love grilled bell peppers without burning it. Cumin, cinnamon, pepper, and salt. Oh man, that's really good. It's been raining on and off since lunch, and it's a cool day, so I'm just catching up on rest and reading here. Canoe for Change, story about a couple who retire and decide to paddle across Canada. I'm really loving this section where they're paddling along the north shore of Superior because it's become very dear to my heart, the North Shore. And they just paddled past in the book the Pukaskwa coast, which is where Xander and I will be hopefully at the end of this river, and I'm picking up some tips for our trip. How perfect is that? Pretty shallow pool here beneath the first set of falls, but I had to give it a quick try. Last cast. Whoa. Rain continues on and off. It's making for a great opportunity to read. Currently they're just describing during the early morning hours with the approaching sound of a thunderstorm we were awakened. Even though it was dark, we quickly decided to pack our tent and gear in our waterproof dry bags to stay dry and wait out the storm in the bug shelter. And I love that. It's just like a random little thing that speaks to how I camp. I try to camp very practically. It may not always be glamorous, Instagram worthy, but I do this so much Last year I spent about a third of the year, 130 something days camping since I left my job, and you have to be practical, otherwise things become a chore. You need good systems out here, and you gotta make small sacrifices at times that lead to a greater comfort. For instance, them packing up camp very early in the morning, probably in the dark, so they could pack up dry, made breakfast under their tarp, and then they're on their way. And they get to camp that evening and they pull out their gear and it's dry. Little sacrifices like that end up being so nice, and I think wilderness camping is a really good way of learning how to make sacrifices and not always do what's convenient in that moment, but set yourself up better for the future by doing little things, because if you don't, you're gonna be uncomfortable. As opposed to home, where you have all the comforts and you have electricity and running water, and it's pretty hard to find yourself in an uncomfortable situation, and I think that's almost a bad thing. It's good to learn to do without sometimes. Veggie burritos tonight. The chili, I just used chili, my homemade dehydrated chili. Rehydrated in the pot cozy. Oh man, these are gonna be really loaded. Yeah, way too much inside. They're gonna be more like quesadillas, but just as good. It's gonna be a knife and fork kind of occasion. Really good. Chilly one this morning. Actually a few wet flurries dropping right now. Smells wonderful. I haven't made an omelet in a long time. Snow showers weren't forecasted, but it's mid-May and it was close to freezing last night, so nothing out of the ordinary for this area at this time. I'm sure Xander and I will have some interesting weather on our trip, and I can't wait. I wish it was 4 days from now, whenever it is we're leaving. We'll see based on conditions and water levels, but soon. I really like the little stove. I wouldn't mind it being larger. This was the larger of two sizes that the company sells in Manitoba, I think. Small company. And yeah, really like it. These little keys here that hold in the pieces, they go through a little slot. That I would probably change. I might just use like a little steel wire or something that you can twist around, because these can fall out if you turn the stove upside down, like if you're dumping cold ash out, for instance. But putting the sticks in the side really is effective, because as they're getting closer to like the combustion area, they're getting dried out by the warmth, so you end up getting really nicely dried sticks once they are actually in the stove. And everything was wet this morning too, and it did struggle a little, but as soon as I started feeding the sticks in from the side, then it went. So yeah, love it. Nasty day. Cold. That was a great little trip too. Moose, rainbows, great scenery, a nice spot to camp. And I'm just even more excited for this trip with Xander now. It's gonna be amazing. When I started this trip, I was also scouting for alternative access points that would potentially bypass the notorious first 7 kilometers of the Pukaskwa River downstream from that access road. I've thrown that footage in at the end here if you're interested in that scouting work. I'm on a forestry road here just south of the town of White River. Xander and I will be starting a big trip down the Pukaskwa River very soon, and I'm actually here just to scout and clear it. I'm hoping to find some new access for the river. Normally it's accessed at the 600 forestry road here, but the first 7 or so kilometers of the river are notoriously bad. It's steep, it's narrow, it's log jammed, and if you have to portage around log jams, it sounds like it's a total mess. So I'm hoping to take some forestry roads, some hydroline roads downriver, and hopefully skip over that. If I can't find any new access downriver, then I'll be trying to clear trails around that nasty section. So I'm at the first possible access point to the river, new access point. There's a forestry road here. I have no idea of its condition, and really you can't tell until you drive it, especially in the spring here with potential washouts. It looks on satellite like you could probably drive it, but there's no substitute for getting boots on the ground. This is the Pukaskwa River here. Could use the drone too, but again, there's just no substitute for actually visiting these sites on the ground. There's a second access option here, and that road might worm around this hydroline clearing. That's that long linear feature there. And then the third option here, which I would probably prefer, but yeah, like I said, the road toward this pool looks probably overgrown, so we'll have to see. And then here, right at to this forestry road I'm on right now, there's the typical access right here. You can jump on the river, but then this stretch here is notoriously bad, so that's what I'm hoping to avoid. So I've pretty quickly come to a dead end here, and this is what I mean by needing to see things on the ground. There's a berm here blocking the road, which is not visible on satellite, and this is a good forestry practice because it cuts off access for cars past this road and keeps areas wild, as they should be. Canoeists have a complicated relationship with forestry because we don't necessarily like seeing forestry activity, but we really rely on forestry roads for so many of the routes that we get to, so pros and cons. At the third option here, I accidentally missed the second one altogether. I can try it on the way back, but this is my ideal one anyway, so if this works, then everything else is moot. Didn't take long. Looks like it's not gonna fly. Pretty sure it's bermed right up there. Yeah, this isn't gonna work either. Down to the last access option right along the hydro line. If that doesn't pan out, then I'm accessing at the Puck River just like everyone else. Just driving down these forestry roads can feel like quite an adventure. Area's very wild. There's wolf scat over there, moose poop everywhere, tons of wildlife and wilderness here, despite the presence of the roads. Also saw a big bear on the drive in, but it was gone before I could film anything. But considering it's spring and it's a hungry bear, it was pretty robust. On to the third road now. Not too hopeful for this one. Hydro access roads tend to be pretty rough. Got down this road further than the other ones, but it's become more suitable to an ATV, and I'm still, I don't know, a third of the way maybe, so I think we're gonna have to do this the hard way. Just parked beside the river, and I'll see what I can do here about clearing the start of this route. What made me add a new twig stove over my existing Kelly Kettle hobo stove is the fact that you don't have to cut pieces, you can just feed them in and keep pushing the stick. It's kind of a nuisance to be cutting sticks into 3-inch lengths all the time, and it's titanium, so this weighs just about nothing. I was actually shopping for an environmental fireplace. It's like a steel box you can have a fire in. Bill Mason kind of popularized it, I think. and I realized it was 7 pounds for a steel version, and ultimately it led me to this one. Just something I can have a nice little fire. It's about the size of a tissue box, the stove, and then sticks like this. You can just feed right in. As soon as that burns up, just shove more in. Our full 13-day Pukaskwa adventure will be coming very soon. It was one of the most amazing trips either of us have done, and it came with its share of challenges. Here's a little teaser to give you an idea. Day 11 of our trip, and we remain wave-bound here on the wildest coast of the world's largest freshwater lake by surface area. We traveled down the remote Pukaskwa River to get here, and the difficulty of a trip like this can be broken up into 4 factors. 1, remoteness. 2, difficulty of portages. 3, difficulty of river travel and rapids. And 4, difficulty of lake travel. And on those 4 factors, this is probably the most difficult trip that either of us have done. But there's a 5th factor that can significantly add to the difficulty of a trip, and that's human error. Pukaskwa River. Don't forget the ibuprofen.